Okay, Roelf Pienaar, Managing Director of TrueCape Fruit Marketing in Somerset West. Every year we attend Fruit Logistica in Berlin in February. It's a show that attracts more than 70,000 visitors from all across the fresh produce sector. So it covers right through from packaging, supply chain, logistics, marketing, machinery. So there's more than 3,200 exhibitionists. So from a marketing perspective, we attend the show every year just to get a feel for the European and the UK market. It's also a time where most of our receivers from the Northern Hemisphere, we get to see all of them over a period of 3 days. So you really get a feel for what the market in the Northern Hemisphere, how it's basically doing, price expectations, the Northern Hemisphere volume or the stock that they've got on in hand. So it's a perfect time for us to see what just to manage our expectations, just to see what the market's going to hold for us for the new year. So for us, in terms of the investment that we're making to attend Fruit Logistica as a group, it's really worth our while. I think what we saw this year in Berlin is the fact that you really need to produce and market what the market wants. So if you don't do that, you're going to become irrelevant. So what we're seeing is that our window in certain of the markets are getting shorter, and that's due to more plantings in the Northern Hemisphere, as well as technological improvements such as Smart Fresh, where you've got product lasting longer. However, I think with markets closing, there's an opportunity for new markets that's opening at the same time. The other thing that I saw was the impact of Brexit, especially on the UK market and UK retailers, as well as just the effect of the import tariffs that was imposed by the Trump government, and how that affects the movement of, in our case specifically, apples and pears, but fresh produce in general. But we're excited about the 2019 season. We come off the back of a drought in 2018. So from a volume perspective, we should be more or less in line with what we did in 2017. So there will be an improvement in volume. In terms of quality, we're very bullish about the quality that we will deliver to the market this year, and also fruit size. We're very, very positive. I think from a marketing perspective, is what we are currently seeing is that the South African window in Europe is getting shorter. If you take a few years ago, the footprint for South African pears into Europe, about half our pears were sold in Europe. Last year it was less than a third. So if you look at that, we have to find new markets for South African pears. So there's a lot of focus on the East, there's a lot of focus on Russia, which brings risk associated. So you have to ensure there's a credit risk if you sell to some of these developing markets. But overall, it will be business as usual for TrueCape. We service more than 104 countries all over the world, all over the globe. So from that perspective, we are well diversified in terms of moving the more than 16 million cartons that we sell every year.